Alright, it is time to do another JoJo What If for my 50th time, I believe. I don't know. I've done it 50 times or over now at this point, but yeah, I'm just gonna have to. I just gotta accept that it's my most popular series, which I'm cool with. So, today, I'm gonna talk about what would happen if Straizo won. So, what if Straizo was able to kill Joseph during their fight? He wins and Joseph dies. How does the franchise change? How would it affect the rest of JoJo as a whole, or at least as we know it? Well, I'm going to answer it the best that I can. So buckle up because this is going to be a very interesting what if. So we start off with JoJo Part 2 because that's where the story is going to start off with, and we're starting off in the beginning of Part 2, aka when Joseph and Straizo first fought. Now, in this timeline, Joseph dies, obviously, because Straizo has to win. As for how Straizo wins in this alternative timeline, I really can't say how. I would assume that one of Joseph's many tricks that he pulls out against Straizo just fail. That's the only excuse I could see. Joseph only really won that fight mostly because of luck, let alone the fight was as long as it was because of luck. If Joseph wasn't even as lucky as he would have lost a lot in the fight. So, in this kind of thing, it's kind of like the Santana one, where it's basically just what if Joseph wasn't as lucky as he was? Or what if Joseph just goofed off too much that it just got him killed? Those are really the only two logical ways you can technically say this what if is, which is to the same extent the Santana one is. So it's kind of similar to the Santana what if to this extent. So with Joseph being killed off very, very, very early, like first fight early, because like I swear if this actually did happen, this would probably just be to the extent of Kaede and Suichi and Danganronpa V3. But in this case, you wouldn't have a JoJo to replace Joseph if he died. You don't have a red herring. You don't have anyone for Joseph to be a red herring to. So, assuming Straighto just kills Joseph, what changes? Well, I assume he likely looks for the redstone on his own and tries to become the ultimate life form, because I do believe he did try to want to stop the Pillarmen, and I don't think Straizo was evil to an extent. Like, granted, he wanted to stay young forever, but I personally don't believe he was insane enough that he wanted to, like, rule the world. I don't think he was to an extent like that. I may be wrong and misremembering. If anyone wants to remind me of Straizo's motives, let me know. Part 2, little crisp, little rusty on the brain. But after that point, everything with the whole kind of story, Speedwagon and the Nazis having to fight Santana, and yeah, the Speedwagon and Stroheim would have likely died. Stroheim probably does injure Santana, though, during their fight. So, it's hard to say. I would assume Stroheim can do some kind of sacrifice and either kill or get Santana extremely injured, which is a likely possibility, but I do believe Santana is going to win this fight and escape. And by that point, it would just turn into the Santana what if, but with Straizo now thrown into the mix. So with Caesar, Lisa log into Machina, it's hard to say what exactly happens. In my opinion, this may just turn into the Straizo what if all over again. Basically just a timeline where Joseph and Stroheim are out of battle tendency. And in the real long term, nothing much would really change. And this what if would kind of play out similar to that one to that extent in a way. And assuming you want to go a route where that does happen, Straizo likely isn't really siding with anyone and is likely probably just going to play a similar role to probably a Risotto role or maybe another role similar to someone like Risotto. So, kind of a secondary main antagonist to the plot. Probably not the main antagonist, but a secondary one nonetheless. Which is not the first time Straizo was a main villain. He came really close because he was my main villain for my Dio turning good what if. So, yeah. I guess no matter what, he's gonna be a main antagonist in a timeline like that. But in this timeline, I don't know if he would be the main villain. Probably not. I don't really see him being able to beat any of the Pillarmen. Granted, he was very intelligent, but maybe he could beat Santana if he's smarter. But I don't see how he's gonna do against like AC/DC, Wamu, and Cars. I really can't see him do anything there. His powers would be very basic by that point, and I don't really see what he can do there. Unless he just learned ice powers like Dio. Maybe he would do a lot better. And even then, characters like Caesar, Lisa, heck, Machina and Loggins probably are able to destroy someone like Straizo. I think one change to come out of it, though, is it's possible that Smokey maybe becomes our new protagonist or hero of the story. So maybe instead it's Smokey's story, and Smokey just plays Joseph's role, but even then, he doesn't really have the natural gift for Hamon that Joseph would have. And assuming that he did learn Hamon and he ended up having to play Joseph's role, he'd probably either just die to Straizo, or even if he learned Hamon, assuming Straizo just hit a pressure point and just gave him the chance to awaken Hamon, and the death of Joseph just feels it, then he's probably just gonna not even do much. Even if he goes to the Nazi hideout and he's there for the Santana fight, he's gonna get destroyed. He's still a newbie. And even with Stroheim aiding him, I don't know if an inexperienced Hamon user would even do too well. So realistically, for the most part, the world would basically be screwed. But then again, it is possible that maybe Caesar ends up becoming a lot stronger since Lisa can focus more on his training. So, like, by that logic, if Caesar is a lot stronger, and not only that, but would be a lot smarter, it is possible he could actually, I mean, not really only possible, but likely he could actually solo each Pillarman on his own, along with Lisa. Santana isn't really that strong, so I feel like Caesar, even when first introduced, could probably beat Santana. I mean, if Joseph could, Caesar probably could. AC/DC, Caesar could beat because of range. Wamu, Caesar came really close to beating him, but only failed because of one mistake. And Cars, Wamu confirmed Caesar could have beaten. So, assuming this is a far stronger Caesar, who's a lot smarter, I assume that Caesar could have actually killed the Pillarman. Possibly. It's not a guaranteed, it's a possibly. And assuming that's the case, like, for part 3 and onwards, there would be no more Joestar family. I mean, Julius and Rose are there, my OCs. For any new viewers, yes, I have OCs. I'm that garbage tier of a creator. So I assume Caesar and Julius and Rose could probably do everything for part 3 and onwards together. Assuming so, then maybe they could just play the role Jotaro did for Stardust Crusaders. I don't know what 4 and onwards could look like. It's kind of hard to say. I personally think Caesar would probably just die in Kakyoin's place, in my opinion, since it fits him more to kind of do something like that over that. And plus, it seems more a character that he'd sacrifice himself for Kakyoin to live. So I'd say it'd probably just be Caesar dying in Stardust Crusaders. But that's kind of the what if. Unfortunately, never saved the comments, so this was a request, so unfortunately, you are not going to be remembered. If you have requests, unfortunately, I'm not doing requests at the moment. I have a lot of requests that I'm currently working up on. So I'm going to complete all those requests, and once those requests are completely done, I will focus back on requested what-ifs. So, that's my what-if. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you all next time. Take care.